Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5:30.
Pretty soon, hundreds of people will be packing Lindenwood Park each night, taking in holiday lights displays. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The setup for the display has already started, and so have some Black Friday deals, along with homeowners setting out holiday decorations. But as Valley News Team's Bradford Eric shows us, it seems we've skipped right over Thanksgiving, and for many, Christmas is creeping up on us earlier and earlier.
You might think this is a scene from one of those holiday seasons where there's just not a lot of snow. But it's only November 2nd, that weird time of year where it seems special occasions overlap. Happy holidays! We just celebrated Halloween. Look, all the pumpkins haven't even been smashed by the neighborhood kids. It's the dreaded Christmas creep. Organizers of the holiday lights display tell me they're taking advantage of the good weather we've been having. Then there's the annual Love Fest.
They're really festive and fun. It's fun to change it up, during the holidays.
And outrage with our paper coffee cups.
I feel like nothing will ever please anyone. There's always going to be, people that are, skeptical.
And retailers are wasting no time either. Amazon already has Black Friday deals listed, and the decor is up at some West Acres stores. The perfect Christmas, you better believe. And holiday parties every weekend.
It seems like it's too early, but it's not. I guess this is generally how it goes. Kind of crazy, but...
Other mall shoppers said ick when I asked them about shopping for the holidays.
It's a lot of work, but something I think most people enjoy.
But you have to think the deals, the discounts happen this time of year because we as shoppers keep coming back. In Fargo, Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
We have more information online, including the most stolen items during the holiday season. Just click on this story at valleynewslive.com. A little sunshine to warm up our Wednesday. Robert, is there anything moving in tonight that we need to worry about?
It looks like most of us will stay dry tonight. However, a few areas in northern Minnesota could see a few showers or sprinkles. Northeastern North Dakota included in that, but much of the area will stay dry. We will see some cloud cover for a while, but those clouds will go away. And tomorrow, it looks like a rather sunny day across the entire region. There are the clouds and the rain across the northern portions of the valley. And again, that will skirt across the northern counties as we head through the next several hours. Late tonight, early tomorrow morning, that finally gets on out of here. Temperature-wise, it's coolest across the north. 43 in Roseau, 45 Langdon, 55 in Fargo, also 55 in Wahpeton, Breckenridge, and in the Valley City area. A nice warm 65 down in Sisseton. Winds, they've been light. They'll remain light as we head through the overnight hours tonight and into the day tomorrow. Here in Fargo, we'll see some cloud cover increasing as we head through the evening hours and temperatures decreasing down into the mid-40s by the 9 o'clock hour. I mentioned the sunshine tomorrow, some warmer air moving on in, and warmer still as we head on into the weekend. How warm do we get? We'll let you know coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Robert. A Fargo man is facing an armed robbery charge after an incident in a South Fargo neighborhood overnight. 19-year-old Breon Jones allegedly pointed a gun at the victim and demanded his belongings. Jones was later stopped by officers while leaving the area where police were searching near the block of 6100 block of Bennett Court South. He matched the description of their suspect, and officers recovered a phone and cash taken from the victim as well as a handgun used in the incident. Police at NDSU say they have two suspects in the vandalism case on campus that left this ROTC statue on the ground. An officer came across a statue near the Benson Bunker Fieldhouse that had been knocked over. Now they say they have completed their investigation and have identified two male suspects. The report is now being sent to the Fargo City Attorney's Office for possible charges. A monument to a heroic World War II North Dakota Army unit has a new home. That monument honors the 164th Infantry and the soldiers who served in it. The four-piece granite monument has been standing guard at the American Legion building in downtown Fargo for a number of years. But the building has been sold, so a new location for the piece had to be found. And today, it was moved to the entrance of Lindenwood Park. Tonight, police in Iowa continue their investigation while mourning two of their own. Investigators say two officers were ambushed and killed in two separate attacks overnight. The man police say pulled the trigger is in custody after hours on the run. Jay Gray has the latest on the murders.
An army of state and local police gathered in the woods outside of Des Moines this morning, where alleged cop killer Scott Michael Green surrendered to officers after more than 9 hours on the run.
It's a great sense of relief, not just for us. I mean, obviously he was targeting police officers is what we believe, but it's a sense of relief for the community.
A community grieving after 2 police officers were ambushed, shot, and killed overnight.
I mean, we're heartbroken.
Urbandale officer Justin Martin and Des Moines Sergeant Tony Baminio were both sitting in their squad cars when investigators say Green walked up and started shooting, firing more than a dozen rounds.
There definitely wasn't an opportunity for these officers to defend themselves or respond to the attack.
Investigators say right now they don't have any evidence that clearly points to a motive in the murders, but law enforcement sources tell NBC News Green has a, quote, history of problems and mental issues and was in dire straits. His criminal record includes charges of assault, interference with official acts, and harassment. This evening, the investigation into the officers' murders continues. Jay Gray, NBC News.
In other news tonight, the 2016 race is already breaking records for early voting. More than 26 million Americans have cast their ballots, and those numbers are expected to surge. Valley News team Samantha Jo Roth takes a look at whether the early voting actually predicts election outcomes.
November 8th is just days away, but for millions of Americans, their ballots are already in.
Some of these states have seen huge increases in early vote.
Michael Frias with the data from Catalyst compiles voter registration information from all 50 states, focusing closely on battleground states like Florida.
Our data suggests that people are voting at a higher number than they had voted in 2012. There's a big bump in Latino turnout. Also, we're seeing an increase with female voters and young voters.
But in states like Ohio and Iowa, the numbers are lower than in the past.
Ohio is one of those states where early voting is down just a little bit. I think the turnout among Latinos and African Americans is slightly up. Iowa is a little bit like Ohio. The early voting is down a little bit. Still women much more likely to vote early than their male voter counterparts.
So how do we know what the early vote looks like when these ballots are secret? Experts are able to draw conclusions based on the number of Republicans and Democrats who have voted compared to their genders and ages.
I think that you could say in some states that maybe the early numbers maybe look a little bit better for Donald Trump, and others maybe they look a little bit better for Hillary Clinton.
Political expert Kyle Kondik says early voting data for Ohio and Iowa look promising for Trump, while the numbers in Florida and Nevada give Clinton the advantage.
Polls in Iowa and Ohio have suggested that Donald Trump may perform better in those states than Mitt Romney did. The early voting in Nevada seems to indicate that Democrats are doing as good of a job this year as they did in 2012. There's been a lot of indication that early voting amongst Hispanics is up in this election in both Florida and in other states.
But Kondik warns about jumping to conclusions.
But I would maybe urge against making broad, sweeping generalizations from the early voting statistics.
Experts predict 40% of the electorate will vote before November 8th. In Washington, Samantha Jo Roth reporting.
If you haven't voted yet, we have a link to all the early voting locations in the FM area on our website. Just head over to valleynewslive.com and click on the hot button. It was a surprise resignation for the Minnesota Vikings organization today. The Vikings made the announcement that offensive coordinator Norv Turner has resigned. Turner was in his 3rd season running Minnesota's offense. The brand new home for NDSU men's and women's basketball and wrestling is officially open. It's all part of the Sanford Health Athletic Complex. The Shield Center has a seating capacity of approximately 5,700. Some notable features are a new center-hung 4-sided video display system. The arena also has a club room on the east side and an upper concourse overlooking the playing floor from each side. There are also 6 basketball hoops available.
This building, this facility, what has been accomplished with this facility and what it will make possible well beyond athletics, well beyond NDSU, is really something rather extraordinary.
The complex is located on the 1600 block of University Drive North, where the BSA used to sit. The Shield Center is part of the $50 million Sanford Health Athletic Complex. We have some new information for you now on a Valley News Live exclusive story. Do you remember these 2 kittens, Pi and Manny? Well, they have found their forever home. If you've been following their story, you'll remember that Pi and Manny were rescued from a fire just 3 weeks ago by a young photographer named Carlos Pacheco. And that's the same photographer who's adopting them. Both kittens were in shock with dangerously low body temps and smoke inhalation. and Pi had severe burns on all 4 paws. And speaking of which, Pacheco has a Compassionate Action Award coming his way from PETA. As he was taking pictures of the controlled fire, that's when he heard meowing and then spotted the kittens. He then shielded himself from the extreme heat with his jacket and had to use a stick to pull one kitten from the fire, then rush both of them to a nearby shelter for veterinary care. PETA says Pacheco's quick action saved the kittens from a painful and terrifying death. North Dakota's 2016 deer season opens on Friday at noon. And if you're lucky enough to have a tag, it might be a little easier to find a deer this year. Generally speaking, the deer numbers across the state have grown. This, according to game and fish biologist Doug Lear. He says that it's a good thing for hunters, but we'll know more when people actually hit the fields. Even if you didn't get a tag this year, many will still have to head out to keep the tradition alive.
The enjoyment, there's no cap, there's no tag needed to enjoy a part of the hunt with the friends and the family and the neighbors, and we want to make sure that people stay safe. I mean, that's first and foremost. If you find the biggest buck of your life and someone gets injured or someone gets killed, they're not going to remember the deer. Unfortunately, that does happen.
The first priority is to wear blaze orange. Lear says even if you're just checking out the mail. Again, the season opens Friday at noon and closes Sunday, November 20th. In Minnesota, the season opens this Saturday. And if you still need to pick up that blaze orange before heading out to the deer stands, the annual Shields Blaze Days started today, and it runs through Friday leading up to the deer opener. You can also get other essentials from boots to socks to binoculars and scopes. Shields says they're fully staffed to accommodate last-minute shoppers.
You know, from orange to all the way to optics. It's right there, right in the right spots. We have, the salesman here to get you in the right thing. So if you do have questions, we just want you to be prepared. We want your trip to be successful.
All 3 days, Shields is giving out free items to the first 500 people through the doors. The doors open at 9 a.m. tomorrow and Friday. All you taco lovers out there, where you can get a free taco today, but only for a few hours. That's still ahead tonight.
A little bit of unsettled weather along our border counties as we head through the overnight hours tonight. Improving weather, warming weather as we head into the weekend. Your forecast details on that coming up right after this.